Hello there, I'm Nick. I'm the founder of the Digital Tourism Think Tank, and you're tuned in to today's live stream, which is all about something that I find probably the most exciting thing we've covered so far this year: drones, 360 video, and virtual reality. So I know this is the stream that you've been waiting for. We've put together tons of case studies. My team has been hard at work. We've got some really great stuff that you're going to love here. And over the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to run through some of our favorites and also give our take on where the industry is going when it comes to all this new tech, which is helping you to create amazing content. And you may be asking yourself, well, why have we decided to actually make this the subject of today's live stream? It's very simple. We are holding the Content Campus in the Faroe Islands on the 1st and 2nd of March. It's something that we're really excited about. It's the inaugural event. And we're going to be getting hands-on with this incredible landscape of the Faroe Islands and all of these new toys, well, some of them at least, over there in the Faroe Islands. So if you're really interested in what you see in today's live stream, get yourself over there, and we look forward to connecting with you in person. But let's get started with today's show. So if you want to join in with your comments online, we really, really encourage you to do so. My team, Roberta Esposito, is hard at work on the social media. She's going to be tweeting some of the takeaways from this and also interacting with you. So get your questions over and we'll try and answer them during the live stream. But let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to start with drones. Now, everybody knows about drones, right? They started off as a kind of, a high-tech industry toy, and then they became a consumer toy, and then they became one of the most popular Christmas gifts last year. So everybody is now getting their hands on drones. I guess if you have kids, they're all nagging at you to get them a drone to go with their smartphone. So everybody is connected with drones. But using drones for content creation is something that the tourism industry has only recently started to tap into. And we're seeing some great examples coming out. Now, I want to just, first of all, kick off with one of our favorites, and also one of the most recent, which is Emirates. They have actually worked with Boeing to do drone footage of the aerial views of some of their destinations, showcasing the worldwide portfolio of destinations they have, also showcasing that they have, in fact, the longest air route ever now. So have a look at this, and you'll get a feel for the sort of content you can create when you use drones in your content creation process. So that's just to give you an idea of the sort of amazing content you can create with drones. Now, there's a few reasons why you should consider using drones within your content process. The first is probably the most obvious, is that actually this is about bringing aerial footage to a much more accessible point. In the past, we used to have to get a helicopter, get a film crew, get some really, really high-tech cameras on board, and really go all out there with this aerial footage. It was nothing short of an enormous budget to actually put that together. In relative terms, we're talking about now something which is much, much, much cheaper, even, you could say, off the shelf. So it is actually something that even the smaller destinations can easily tap into. There's some widespread consumer goods on the market which will help you do that. There's also great professionals who actually will be able to support you in that content creation process. Why is it so interesting beyond that, though? Well, there's a few really good reasons. First of all, it's green, so you don't have to get the helicopter into the air. If you use an electric one, then you're not going to spend a lot of money. And even the non-electric ones are much lower in their emissions. But also, you can get right into the places that are hard to reach with a helicopter. So imagine, for example, getting right inside the Grand Canyon, Or imagine going through a really, really densely populated, urbanized area where you can actually fly a drone low, or say inside a church or an impressive architecture. Get right inside with a drone, and you can really show what that actually has to offer. So my favorite place in Belgium, one of my favorite places, is actually the Antwerp Central Station. It's just an example of the sort of place where you're actually able to use drones to show the height and the depth of such an incredible piece of architecture by going indoors with that. But also, as we've seen with Boeing and Emirates, going outdoors, you can also have amazing effects. So just think about all the places that you couldn't normally get an aircraft and ask yourself, well, could I get a drone there? And the answer is almost certainly yes. Talking about off the shelf, there are some DIY approaches. We're not going to summarize them all. I'm going to just focus on one which I think is really interesting, and then I'll go to another which I think is even more interesting. So the first is a new startup company called Lily Drone, and they have actually created a drone which will follow you. So this is definitely not something I would recommend for an urban destination, because I think you're going to cause some accidents by doing this. But imagine if you have an incredible ski resort or an amazing outdoor location. You can actually throw this drone up into the air, and it will follow you and film everything you do. That is nothing short of a revolution in aerial technology and content creation. So have a look at this and see what you think for yourself. Pretty cool, huh? I can assure you we haven't been paid by any of the companies we're featuring today. We chose them just because we think they have amazing products. That's certainly going to be on my wish list. And I should just say that's a first prototype, and there are some shortcomings in it, which some of the people testing it have realized, such as it cannot spot trees. So if you're skiing downhill through a wooded ski slope, you might want to just consider not to actually destroy your Lily drone as soon as you buy it. But certainly it shows us where technology is going, and you can already do quite a lot with that. Now, we've seen some more, we could say, guerrilla or off-the-wall approaches to actually creating drone footage, also to demonstrate that you don't necessarily need a tech budget to do this. If you have a smartphone and a cable, you can do some amazing things. There is actually a how-to video which supports this, but I'm going to show you what's a piece of content we found only this week that we think is really interesting. It's a freestyle skier, a guy called Nicolas. He's a French guy, and he's done some freestyle skiing in the Alps. He's actually got his smartphone connected to a string or a cable, and he's able to swing that around and actually create a downhill skiing experience as if he had a drone flying around him. It really, really is incredible. It shows just how creative you can also be in using your smartphone and having a bit of a good idea about how to actually produce that footage. So take a look at this. I think you're going to be really impressed with that. And definitely go on and see how they made that, because I think when you learn how it's produced, you're going to be certainly very, very inspired. Now, I should also say that all of this DIY content creation with drones is all well and good, but you should consider very carefully the safety aspects, and you should also consider that sometimes, even though you can get this kind of thing off the shelf, sometimes it is still better when it's done by professionals. And there are some amazing companies out there. We indeed ourselves will be launching a service to do this from March, but think about getting some really brilliant content creators to do that, because I think at the end of the day, the end result will be good. But this certainly gives you a tip. And don't have any accidents, because if you do, there are people on the watch for dangerous flying objects. We've got a video here of a new testing experimental initiative taking place in Holland right now, where they're training eagles to catch drones. So you may have heard about the number of drones which have gone over security protected areas, or they've flown very near airports and having near misses with planes. This is the sort of danger that you could get into. So it's not child's play. In fact, drone operators are very skilled and experienced pilots, and so you should be very careful. And I think, if nothing else, you'll be quite entertained by that eagle there. Now, moving on to the next point in today's live stream, 360-degree videos. If you like, this is a sort of extension of this. And I have to say, it all kicked off for me when we saw the potential in tourism, when we saw the work that Dubai had done, Visit Dubai. They produced a new campaign, a new site to showcase everything that Dubai had. It's called Dubai 360, and it actually allows you to have a completely immersive, interactive 360-degree video. So I would suggest you go and check that out. It's dubai360.com, and that will give you an idea for where it all started. But moving on from that, we've seen this technology develop further, and we've seen that content creators are going beyond just the experience of being able to experience 360-degree video on its own, but actually developing that into a story, into a more personal experience. Now, we all know that putting people and putting stories into your content is key to success. And so we're starting to see some great examples of this emerging. We have a clip here of Austria, where they've actually done some great 360 video. Again, we're going back to the skiers. I think skiing and 360 videos and aerial videos is certainly very complementary. Have a look at this and get a feel for how you can actually get even beyond the aerial footage and get a much more immersive experience where you feel very much a part of the experience. And also, we have some great footage from a Norwegian blogger who has created, without the support of any tourism funds, has created a very unique and slightly different, more personal angle with 360-degree content, where they've actually got into a boat and gone across a lake, and they've spoken about the experience. Where 360 video gets really interesting is when you actually take it a level further, where you don't just show the landscape, but you show the people interacting, and you can actually browse and enjoy that experience of being part of that. So we have a little clip here of that. Take a look and see what you think for yourself.
We are near Oslo in Norway, and me and Dave are going to go for a little row of this boat.
It looks like you got something, Jakey.
Yeah, these guys have got some little fish. You got some seaweed?
I've got a rock.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, this is going to be cool.
See you later, boys.
Look at that bird.
Oi.
Oh, what is he? Does anybody know what that bird
I
is?
think it's just a seagull, bro.
Oh, I like him. Jellyfish right there, right behind you. Look, 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 go, go, go.
Oi.
Hopefully we'll float past it and you guys can see it. Wait, wait, wait. Can you see it? I hope you can see it.
Hey guys, look at this down there. Look at this down there.
I can't see him now. Oh, there he is.
Yes, bruv.
Awesome.
Move that all down. Yeah.
Wow. Do you reckon they're poisonous?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Those tentacles coming off the bottom. We are...
It's not bad, huh? So there's lots more examples of this online, and we're going to be showcasing a lot more examples where stories really develop through 360 video. What you're looking at here is very, very powerful content which engages people and engages people to discover further. So it's very hard to walk away when you start looking at 360 video, and this is the power of this content. If you want to have that really deep, rich engagement with your consumers, if you want them to explore, to go into the destination, and to look at the different experiences that you can offer, this is the perfect way to do it. There are a few things you should consider, though. It's still a very early technology. We are going to see it absolutely explode this year. But having said that, it's still an early point. So if you're on a Mac, you're using Safari or Internet Explorer, for example, on a PC, you're not going to be able to view the 360 experience. In your browser, you can literally just turn the videos if you're using Google Chrome, and you can actually move around the videos in a very simple way. So you need to be using Chrome to be able to get the most out of this. But certainly expect that to change very, very soon because, as I said, this is becoming mainstream. Also think about the potential for developing the actual story aspect. So going much further than just the impressive landscape, but getting that very first-person view. I'm going to show some great examples in just a moment when we look at actually virtual reality and how you can go deeper, because you'll see exactly how stories come into play. But just think about going further, because as much as this is very new and actually people are jumping onto it now, we're already seeing that this technology is starting to look a bit dated. Everybody's starting to do it, and you need to still be ahead of the curve when you enter this. We're seeing also the future of travel. So we're seeing space travel becoming just huge right now. Everybody is trying to get into the space race for passenger travel. So it's a very interesting example we have here. We've got the Mars mission from NASA. They've actually done a 360 image, but even they are starting to play with immersive and 360 content. So you can see that this is certainly a great way to help people explore something that is unknown for them. And if you think about your strategy, and you think about where this content fits in your strategy, remember that your visitors start at a point where they're unaware, and they develop that into an awareness, an interest, and then they convert. They make that decision to go. The 360 content is where they really develop that awareness and that interest to go. And it's a really powerful type of content to actually stimulate that interest and get them to explore at a much deeper level what the destination has to offer. So moving on to virtual reality, I should say that virtual reality is simply an extension of 360 video, but the potential for virtual reality goes so much further. And at the moment, there's still only a limited number of really, really outstanding examples, and we're still seeing a lot of experimentation. Now, if you think about virtual reality, you might be thinking about these huge headsets. We actually showed last week the Google Cardboard, so we have ours here. Google Cardboard is simply bringing this technology to the masses, because actually Google Cardboard is very cheap. It's costing you around €20, or even less perhaps. And it allows you to create an almost fold-up 3D headset that you can put on and wear it. And then your viewers who are watching that content can get taken away and transported into a completely different place. So there's a really powerful content experiences that can be had here. We've been looking at what the industry has been doing, and so far it's still a little bit limited to interacting with people at trade shows or getting people to explore the destination through the more expensive headsets like Oculus Rift. But we're going to see this changing. But before getting into some of the examples where we can see mass consumer appeal, let's have a look at one of the first destinations to jump onto this. Let's have a look at how South Africa Tourism have been using virtual reality to showcase what they have to offer. And we've got a little bit of a case study here for you.
I'm Henry Stewart, I'm from Visualize. We're out here in South Africa doing a 360-degree filming project for South Africa Tourism. I'm at neighbour goods markets at the moment. We've been all over South Africa viewing all the key highlights for tourism. We've been shark diving, we've been doing abseiling, paragliding, we've been to incredible bars and stunning markets like this, and really experiencing the culture, the fun and the excitement of the country. Yeah, so we had a team of two of us from Visualize, myself and Ab, who's an expert in putting it all together and understanding the constraints of the photography. We then went out here with something else, who are well known for binaural sound, especially with games and with video content they produce. and they've come in to do 360-degree audio. And then finally we've got here who are overseeing, that's Marcia, and we've got Juan from South Africa Tourism who's making all the deals, getting us access, meeting people, charming people. So together, the 6 of us, it's been a brilliant team and a huge amount of fun to work on.
It's actually a funny project. We didn't have a specific brief to work on. It all started, July came into our office and they showed the Oculus Rift. When we were looking at it, experienced it, the team, all very impressed by the technique. We thought South Africa Tourism, that is the client we need to use this for.
My name is Juan. I'm the marketing manager for South African tourism in the UK and Ireland. From a destination point of view, I think it's going to be, now this is going to be hailed as a success in as far as pushing the destination marketing in a different altogether people are not familiar with, and continue to deliver towards our goals and more tourists to the destination, to bringing in more revenue for different provinces in the destination, which is as a tool part of our KPIs. Using these technologies to educate and raise awareness of those areas previously unknown in the country. It's going to be one of the best ways to do so.
What we're trying to do with the visualized technology is actually bring tourists to South Africa virtually, give them a real taste of the flavour of South Africa. And we're developing that technology, pioneering that technology in the UK and Europe. So South Africa Tourism approached us to bring this brief to life.
I hope the legacy of this project will be that we will be appreciated for the innovation that we had, for the work that Visualize and Something Else did, for the bravery that South Africa Tourism had to go on with this project, and for the fact that Universal brought all this together.
I think this kind of technology is going to get more and more ubiquitous. When you want to be completely honest about a place and show people what it's really like to be somewhere, then this is the best way to do it. But that means it only suits certain places. Like, you couldn't take this kind of equipment to a lot of countries in Europe, but you can take it down to South Africa, where everywhere you look it's just breathtaking. So you've got to really suit the scene to the content, and in this case South Africa is that perfect scene.
So, as you can see, pretty interesting stuff there, and certainly one of the pioneers in this space. Another pioneer in the destination space using virtual reality is Tourism British Columbia. Now, Tourism British Columbia were the first destination in North America to actually make use of virtual reality. And what we can see is that they've used a variety of different methods to capture the footage, from drones to 360 video, and they've also made it incredibly immersive. So in this short case study which you can see, you'll see how they're actually being able to interact when they're using the actual experience and actually navigate around it using the headset to actually choose whether to go left or whether to go right. So it's more than just watching, it's also about participating and choosing what you're going to do next within the experience. Have a look at this and see what you think.
You hear that growling? That's how we know they're stellar sea lions. Because if they were California sea lions, they'd be barking. Look at that. Isn't that a great sound? Oh, here he comes. Here he comes, right here. He's going to come up out of the water. Yeah. Right here. Hi. What? Oh, this is great. Yeah, these guys are, you know, we've got a small boat, we're not making too much noise, so they're actually being very, very curious with us right now. So there you go, right underneath us.
Okay, so you've seen some great examples here. Now, here's a few things to think about if you're going to go into this space yourself. And I would definitely suggest that you think about it very seriously. First of all, the Oculus Rift is amazing. But think about your mainstream market. You want to hit the mainstream. If you're a destination, you want to engage people on a large scale. So think about how to actually get your customers to engage with this. As I said, Google Cardboard is something that's very cheap to produce. You can actually get this made up yourself from anything between 5 and 20 euro a piece. And it can be fully branded, fully printed and colored with your own brand all over it. So think about how you can tie the distribution of these experience headsets, which people can just plug their own phones into, along with some of your partners' work. So think about how you can tie it in with, actually, if you're still doing press work, this is a great opportunity to give out those headsets to those readers, or to engage people when you do events and festivities. So there's lots of ways that you can actually get the headsets out to people so they can go and experience your content. But when you drive them in to actually look at the 360 content, the virtual reality content, think a bit further than just creating it for the sake of it. Because we saw, especially in the early days, a lot of content being produced without a strategy. And if you develop content without a strategy, you're going to be wasting your money because it's going to be very short-lived. It's going to be, we could say, a gimmick. And it's not going to actually inform people or take them deeper on your brand experience. So just to give you an example, we've seen the hotel sector use this a lot. If you go to any of the big trade shows, you'll see that most of the big flagship hotels, they have some kind of Oculus Rift 3D experience on their stands. And I have to say, for the most part, they're not really done to a very high standard. Often you get the opportunity to sort of look around the lobby. Okay, that's not the best experience for me. Or you get to look at the suites, or look at a place that you perhaps couldn't afford to rent. What you actually want to do is take people much further. So the opportunity is to actually tell the story within that, to bring people in over a longer, over a slower time. So as you see from a lot of the footage we produced, it's produced quite slowly, and it invites you to actually watch the landscape unfold in front of you, and to actually experience that. Because 360 degrees, it will take you a lot longer to actually absorb everything around you in the same way that you might actually do if you were there. So think about not rushing the actual content that's being created. And also think about how you can bring people into that, and also how you can get your best or most impressive multi-sensory experiences shown through that. We're also seeing new technology emerging on top of this, such as 3D sound experiences. So we're seeing that the basic virtual reality experience is kind of building up to become a much more multi-sensorial experience as well. And we also see innovative ways in which they're actually being applied and deployed to customers. So we've got a great video here of Qantas, which have actually used the virtual reality experience to show what their first-class lounges have to offer, and actually take people away whilst they're actually experiencing the flight. So it's a great way of giving people content. It's probably much more exciting than what you see on the screen in front of you or what you see in the magazine. And it's a great way to engage people. Just imagine if they actually went a step further and actually showcased different places in the destination that they were flying to. This is a great way to really show people different aspects of what they could experience when they land. So it's just an example of how you can get it in front of people at a point where they are certainly about to make a decision on the experiences that they're going to have when they get there. Also think about how you can engage people for a longer period of time with an experience which is quite sensational. We have been looking at some of our favorites, and all you need to do is download the Google Cardboard app, and then you will be invited to download an app called Verse. And with this app, you can actually see exactly what we're talking about. We've got a clip, and this is a clip that we're going to end on, which is a video here of you two actually playing, sitting around the person. So this is truly using the potential of virtual reality to experience not just a 360 video using all the technology on your smartphone, but really go much further and experience that very, very unique and special feeling about having multi-sensorial things happening all around you. So in this video, you'll be able to see here that actually you can participate in the process, that you actually feel like you're the only person on a stage with this incredible band playing. And this is something that you can't show through normal content on your website. So it's actually using virtual reality in a way that makes sense, that makes virtual reality the reason to actually take the time to download it, to use it. Because as with a lot of content like this, it requires a certain level of commitment. You're actually having to, first of all, inform your customers about how to do it before they actually engage with it. So make sure that once they've gone through that process, that the experience is going to be worth it. So on that note, I'm going to leave you. I think you've got lots of great examples. We're going to keep posting examples on our site. We also have a series of 5 tips this week on the biggest trends happening in 2016. So head over to thinkdigital.travel and look at some of our big tips. And we certainly have some ideas there on virtual reality and immersive content. And of course, do get in touch if you're interested in any of the things you see here. We ourselves have put together an incredible team of content creators. And if you would like us to work with you to tell your story, then we would certainly love to do that. Other than that, it leaves me to say goodbye, see you in the Faroe Islands, and we hope to see you again for the next DTTT Live.